Hey everyone, a new video comparing the two Kawasaki Ninja bikes I bought in 2025, ZX-10R and my 1100sx, both beautiful bikes. So I'll share some of my experience with you. This comes from Michigan, by the way, in case you're wondering where all this action is happening. So these are my two current bikes. I bought the first one in April of 25 and the other one more recently. This bike would be nice. This old-fashioned W230 I think would be nice to add to my collection. But I bought these two bikes. They're very different. One is the 1100sx, which is a sport tourer. It's comfortable. The ZX-10R is a crouched sport bike. It's a race bike. But it feels great. The sport tourer, the 1100sx, is nice and upright. I'm riding in Frankenmuth, Michigan out here. And I feel very safe. It's a beautiful bike to look at. It's gorgeous, except for maybe that muffler that has to go. But riding on streets, you're sitting quite upright. You can observe all of the traffic. It's a little harder when you're bent over and crouched. The bike is gorgeous. I checked this out. I fell in love with the pictures as soon as Kawasaki released the pictures of the 2025 SE in the green color and the all the extra stuff, like rumble brakes and all that. It's just a gorgeous bike. The panniers, by the way, are made by Givi, the Italian accessories company. Even when I stop at stoplights, people come up to me, and a few times this has happened. They've asked me about the bike, how I like the bike. It is a beautiful bike, and it's not noisy, so it's not, obnoxiously noisy. And so when I saw it at the dealership, I just had to have it. It is so good looking. You got to buy it and take it home. The ZX-10R, on the other hand, it's a pure race bike. It has a heritage in racing, from the sport superbike, super sport days. And this is my ride home. I just picked it up. I bought it in Lansing, Michigan. And riding through the fields of Michigan, it's a very different riding experience, a very different position. And like I said, in super bikes, it has a whole history. It has a wonderful, successful history. Jonathan Ray, I think. And that KRT green color is special. It's unique. It's very noticeable on the street. And I love seeing it just right below and in front of me when I ride the bike. So I missed the opportunity to buy this twice while I was still deciding. And finally, when I saw it, I just ran to a dealership and I bought it. I bought it again in Lansing, Michigan. Beautiful roads. We have a few beautiful roads in Michigan, back roads. This is me riding home with the bike, making sure not to exceed more than 55 miles an hour. So let's talk about some specifications. People ask a lot about this. Obviously, they're both liter bikes. The 1100 has 1099cc. ZX-10R is a 998cc. They produce power. 134 for the 1100, almost 200 horsepower for the ZX-10R. The torque is roughly equivalent, but they are made at different, places in the power band. It's noticeably different. The ZX-10R, you got to really spool up to feel the power. The 1100sx, it's right there. The torque is right there on the street. I'm always riding on the street. I'm always conscious not to ride perfectly alongside traffic. I'm always slightly ahead or behind. Just watching for that lane change, then the person doesn't see you. Or I'm really making an effort to watch out for left turning traffic. It's easy to not, or easy to miss a bike, and so I'll flash. It lamps my flash to pass light, or just make sure I'm visible, or I'm always swaying from side to side on the bike, just to get some attention so people actually see me on the road. So specs-wise, the bikes are, liter bikes. In terms of weight, I don't want to ride the bike that's more than 550 pounds. That's my limit. So these are both under. The ZX-10R at 450 feels significantly lighter. In terms of fuel mileage, I feel like I'll have a lot of fuel in a 5-gallon tank. It feels like it's a lot of gas. The ZX-10R 4.5 gallons. The light fuel light comes on at 3.2. It's happened twice to me, which I think is a little low. But that's how race bikes works, right? They work. They inform you as to how much fuel has been consumed. This is my ZX-10R on a track. You gotta watch out for guys passing you on the left. They just gotta zoom past you. There's a huge speed differential. But this was a fantastic experience for me on the ZX-10R. The mirrors and everything is all taped up for safety. Mirrors are taped up, headlamps, tail light, everything is taped up. Indicators, everything all taped up for safety so you don't leave plastic or glass in the track when you crash. But this is me riding at Grattan Raceway in October of 2025. It was a great experience. That's our coach. So we're just learning the track at this point. And that ZX-10R was just absolutely fantastic. You guys are probably wondering about fit. I'm 6 feet 2, and so in terms of ergonomics, I have some pictures for you. So sitting on the 1100sx, it's a bit more upright, but you see my feet are fully placed on the ground there, riding position, feet up. It still feels roomy, upright, and comfortable. ZX-10R very different. So you're always leaning forward, and I have a shot here. And then I have another shot of the leg up position where you see how crouched you have to be. But honestly, I didn't find it uncomfortable. I'm very comfortable. I do a lot of bike and bike racing. I have a bike racing position, so I'm not uncomfortable, but you can see the difference here, right? More upright versus low and crouched with low handlebars and the 10R. Some other features, I don't want to cover too many features out here. This is just my riding experience. So electronics, you always want at least a 6-axis IMU and ABS. It's something that's a must for a street bike today. Since the technology is available. Suspension wise, it's important to have good suspension, especially for the 10R. I want to have a track expert help me next time when I take my bike to the track, because suspension is the best thing you can do for your bike if you're racing it. And on the brakes, I just like the branding and performance of the Brembo brakes. I have Brembo on both bikes. You don't so much need it for the street. If you have 1100s, bike without, the Nissans work just fine. But the riding, the cockpit here, you can see it's comparable. The clip-ons are very different, in a very different position. But I like the fact that the display and the buttons are all very similar. So the display is fine. It's a smaller TFT, but I don't mind it because I'm not shifting between drastically different bikes. I know where all the stuff is, how all the switches and the menus work. People complain about no fuel gauge on the ZX-10R. It is not a problem, trust me. There's a fuel consumption meter. You keep track of that, and you fill up every 3 gallons. I like the fact that there's no wing on either bike, but this is the difference in the front. The rammer on the 10R and the integrated front wing-like effect. I much prefer that to these wings. Tail lights are beautiful. There's nothing like full LED. I also, by the way, use a brake fix and the light that you fix to your helmet for safety. And the lighting on the bike is adequate. Brembo brakes, Showa magical shocks on the front of the ZX-10R. They have that little piggyback external reservoir that kind of stays cool as the shock is kind of compressing. That's the reason for that. But I do like the Brembo brakes. They're wonderful. Again, I'm so happy I have similar buttons on both bikes, except on here you can see the heated grips on the 1100sx. But I like the fact that I have similar buttons on both of the bikes. On the 1100sx, that tank is gorgeous. That is something to look at, both the color and the shape. It just fits you, so very well. And Yeah, you can't help just staring at it, especially when you're stopped at the light or something. 1100 has ample pannier capacity. You want to go somewhere for a week. Basically what do you need? You need, underwear and a toothbrush, right? So 4 or 5 days trip plus a laptop bag and a little seat bag at the back. There's proper seating on the 1100 Tourer. It's very comfortable, although I haven't ridden with a passenger for a long period of time. But it's a proper seat, plenty of capacity. Now, this is what I love about the ZX-10R. I just love to see the fact that there's an actual damper, steering damper. Again, it's called a damper, not a dampener. Some people say dampener. That's wrong. It's just a damper. You must have heard of Doodle on a Motorcycle, the woman who fell off that Janus bike because of this front end oscillation. It wasn't a head shake, it was just the front end wobble. I think with this damper, it may have helped. I don't know, but it's a very famous case on YouTube of Doodle on a motorcycle. But I love to see this, especially if you're going over 100. I love to see that there's a damper on the bike. Not every bike comes with this. And finally, just the sound of inline fours, whether you're merging on a highway or you're doing something on a racetrack. There are 8 pistons screaming right now in this shot. Beautiful experience. I love inline fours, and just love to hear both the exhaust and especially the induction sound. Well, such peace and quiet. That's it, folks. So these are my bikes. I just want to keep my videos nice and short. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until our next video, take care and thanks for watching.